All right, let's talk about kefir. You've probably heard of it, right? It's this fermented drink that's getting a ton of buzz. But what is it really? What are all these huge promises people are making about it? And, how do you even make the stuff? Well, we're going to break all of that down by looking at the story one really passionate seller is telling. So let's dive in. Okay, so right off the bat, the name itself tells you almost everything you need to know about its appeal. Kefir. It apparently comes from the Turkish word kif, which literally translates to good feeling. I mean, talk about powerful branding, right? It's not just selling a drink, it's promising you a whole mood. So first things first, let's get down to the basics. What is actually in this drink that's supposed to give you that good feeling? Well, according to the seller we're looking at, kefir is basically a fermented drink, kind of like a yogurt you can drink. It's made using milk and these things called kefir grains. But, and this is important, they're not grains like you'd find in bread. Nope, they're actually a living little colony of bacteria and yeast all bundled together. And it's this unique little ecosystem that's said to pack the final drink full of all those good probiotics and nutrients. And the nutritional claims get even bigger. The source points out that during that fermentation process, most of the lactose in the milk gets eaten up. That's why they can market it as 99% lactose-free, which, is a massive deal for a lot of people. It's also pitched as this total powerhouse of minerals. We're talking magnesium, phosphorus, and a whole bunch of vitamins like K2 and B12. Naturally, when you think of fermented milk, your mind probably jumps straight to yogurt, right? It's the king of the dairy aisle. So the big question is, how does kefir actually stack up against it? This is where our source really draws a line in the sand. They claim kefir has beneficial yeasts, which yogurt just doesn't have. It's also way thinner, so you drink it instead of scooping it with a spoon. And this is a big one. Because of how it's fermented, it's supposedly way easier to digest, even for folks who struggle with lactose. But here it is, the real knockout punch in the kefir versus yogurt debate. The source claims milk kefir has 3 times the probiotics you'll find in yogurt. 3 times. So according to them, it's not just that the probiotics are different, it's that you're getting a much, much more powerful dose. Okay, so you've got more probiotics, it's easier to digest. What does that all mean? Well, this is where we get into the really big promises, the huge list of health claims that has people calling kefir a superfood. No surprise here, the first place they focus is on gut health. The claims are pretty extensive, supporting digestion, helping with regularity, cutting down on bloating. But the really key idea here is that the good bacteria in kefir don't just, pass through. The claim is that they actually colonize your gut, setting up shop for a lasting positive effect. And it doesn't just stop with your gut. Oh no, the source really paints kefir as this all-around wellness tool. It's a complete protein for energy. It can help you curb those junk food cravings, and it might even help you relax, supposedly because of the tryptophan it's got in there. And just in case you're wondering how strongly they believe this stuff, this quote from the source kind of says it all. Kefir is a lifesaver. Wow. So we're not just talking about a healthy drink anymore. This is being framed as something that can genuinely change your life. The list just keeps on going. It's suggested that kefir might even play a role in balancing your blood sugar, helping with allergies, and giving your whole immune system a major boost. The claims are pretty broad. Okay, so after hearing this massive list of benefits, you're probably thinking, all right, how do I actually make this stuff at home? So let's shift gears from the why to the how, and look at the home brewing process. First up, you need the right gear, and the source is super specific about this. A glass jar is what you want, a plastic strainer, a wooden spoon. And here's the big warning. You have to keep reactive metals, think aluminum or copper, away from your kefir. Apparently, it can actually harm those little living grains. The process itself is broken down into 6 really simple steps. You just add your kefir grains to some milk in that glass jar. You cover it, let it sit and ferment at room temperature for about a day. Then, after 24 hours, give it a stir with that wooden spoon. Strain the liquid through your plastic sieve. That separates the grains out, and boom, your kefir is ready. Just chill it before you drink it. And the best part? You just take those very same grains and use them to start your next batch over and over again. All right, so let's wrap up by looking at how this seller positions their product. I mean, you can find cheaper options out there, so what's their big pitch? What's the core message they're trying to send? While they don't beat around the bush, this quote makes it crystal clear. We do not sell poor quality grains at a poor price. It's a super direct, totally unapologetic pitch that's all about quality, not about being the cheapest. And this next quote really changes how you're supposed to think about the purchase. It's not just a product. They say, Kefir greens are just one-time investment, so you should buy the best. The logic is pretty simple, right? Since you can reuse these greens pretty much forever if you take care of them, it makes sense to invest in the best quality from the get-go. So what's the bottom line here? Through the eyes of this one seller, kefir isn't just a drink. It's a nutritional powerhouse, it's a superfood that leaves yogurt in the dust, and it's a one-time, lifelong investment in your own health. The claims are absolutely huge, and they're delivered with so much passion. And all this leaves us with one big, final question to think about. As we're all looking for ways to be healthier, how do we make sense of these really powerful, really compelling stories that sellers are telling us?